Hello everyone. In this video we are going to canvas the cluster analysis data set. So we've got A through J, we've got 10 columns of data, and we've got 325 rows, of which 324 are going to be respondent information. Over here, I'm just going to highlight this in a yellow, doesn't really matter. We have what is called the offer information. And this one here, which I'm going to highlight just in orange, is the customer that bought this particular offer. Okay? So Smith, last name of Smith, and there's all kinds of problems with that. We'll talk about that later. But we've got offer number 2 was in January. The variety was Pinot Noir. It was 72 kilograms of minimum quantity, have to be purchased. The discount was 17% off of the list price. The wine's origin was from France. Is it past its peak? No. False. Above average rain? Yes or no. Customer last name? Okay, again, that's the customer. Now, one reason there's a problem with this is we don't know who this customer is. Is it, Emmitt Smith of Dallas Cowboy fame? Or is it Adam Smith of Wealth of Nations economics a couple hundred years ago fame? Okay, joking aside, of course we know it's not Adam Smith. But you want to be careful of that as a data scientist. If you are embedded with a marketing team particularly, you need to be careful of that. And this week in your discussion with your paper, you need to, again, work hard at thinking about this from a business perspective. So you'll see my note. Now, I didn't want to go on a soapbox there, but we have to be careful because sometimes we get too demanding as a data scientist. We think, oh, all the data has to be perfect. If it's not perfect, it's junk. Okay, I've talked about that before, junk in, junk out. But in this case, we're going to group customers together. Okay. And we're going to do this not necessarily to market to that specific individual, but to find groups of customers. We've got 32 products or 32 offers, and we've got 100 customers as a sample. Like, let's say we have 1,000 customers and 2,000 customers, whatever it is. We've got a sample here, and we're going to build a model to develop specific segments. So you might have heard of segmentation marketing, where we target flyers to particular individuals. Similar to what we did with the pregnancy information, where we might say, wow, we should send a flyer to this person because they're 98% pregnant, or we have a score of 98%. Okay, that's good, but it doesn't really talk about their similarity to other groups or other people more specifically. Specifically, if we're trying to cross-sell a product. A couple of you mentioned that a couple of weeks ago in your papers, the opportunity to cross-sell or even upsell. So you got them buying the milk, start selling them the chocolate syrup, right? Or you got them buying the bread, get them to buy the jelly. You got them to buy the basic $1.99 bread, try to get them to buy that $6 stuff that has all the seeds in it, right? Upselling. We got them in the store with a low-priced advertisement for a refrigerator. Now's your time to sell them a more expensive one with better features, etc. Okay, but we're going to do that in terms of looking at the similarities in behavior of different people. Okay, so Smith and Johnson, they might not have anything to do with each other. They might not know each other. They might be from totally different backgrounds, totally different socioeconomic backgrounds. One might work the first shift, the other one might work the third shift. One might be single, one might have a family of 10. uh, whatever. But the data analysis, the artificial intelligence here, the unsupervised learning, the machine learning, is going to identify whether, in fact, Smith & Johnson are similar enough to be marketed to as a group. Okay? Because gone are the days of setting up one mailer, one flyer, one coupon to hit all of your customers. We have the technology. You, as a student, becoming a master of understanding how this all works, we have those ingredients that help us identify, oh, maybe there's 5 optimal groups. Maybe there's 10 optimal groups. Maybe there's 3 optimal groups. How do we identify those groups and market to them so that we have a better bang for our marketing buck, our expenses? Because you got to think about it in terms of, yeah, an email is cheap, but what about the content marketer that had to write the paragraph? What about the graphic designer that had to come up with a cute, enticing banner? What about the person that had to create a digital coupon? What about the IT staff member that had to ensure that the digital coupon or the promo code in the website guaranteed that it was going to take 17% off the product, 34%, 47%, etc. So we want to make sure we get this right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at whether they bought, this is our key. Which offer did they buy? Right? You're going to note that it's the same number as column A. The reason for that is because when we put this into SAS, it's going to want it separated. We could easily put like a 1 here, but SAS is going to want a variability in the data. And I'm going to explain that in a minute when we run SAS. Okay, so we don't know how many times they bought this offer. We just know that they bought this offer. Okay, we could create another variable, quantity purchased, right? Maybe you have that in your data set for your project. Maybe you have that in your data set at work. We could do just, just for fun, 1 to 5. This is just a random number generator. So, okay. So we could add that as a new variable. Now, I don't say we should do that because I didn't prepare us in the lecture to do that. But just keep in mind, as a data person, you don't know how many quantity they actually purchased. Okay? It's kind of a binary thing. We don't have a 1 and 0 here because all we have are purchases, right? We don't have, Fisher 0 for, offer number 1, right? We don't have Fisher for offer number 1 as a 0. This isn't binary, right? But it is when we think about it because it's a yes or no. If there is a number here, if there's a row here, then it's a yes. They did purchase that. Okay, so in those terms, it's kind of in your mind. I want you to think about binary yes and no's, 1s and 0s. Not that they bought it twice, not that they bought 24 of them, not that they bought 26 of them, not that they bought 30 of them, etc. Okay. So that's the data set, that's the canvas.